BSNRN.
BSNRN.
What does that mean?
Bachelor's of Science of Nursing and registered nurse.
And it is SARAH.
Correct.
Sarah, how long have you been at Truman Medical Center?
I'm coming on 7 years.
And you've been with COVID patients?
Correct.
Tell me what that's been like.
It's been extremely devastating, extremely tragic, just watching as these patients are suffering throughout the duration of this pandemic.
What was it like to be the first person to get the vaccine?
To be honest, I got butterflies. It was really exciting to get to, it feels like a little bit of hope, a little bit of light, a little bit of chance that we might start to see some healing and see some people truly getting better and potentially tackling this virus.
You had something historic happen to you today. What happened?
I was the first here to receive the COVID-19 vaccine.
And why were you the first? Did you just get in line first? Is it because of your job? Is it because you volunteered first?
I was given the opportunity today. I had no idea it was even happening, and I was given the opportunity today to be the first. I've worked on the COVID unit since the beginning, since we first started seeing COVID patients here at Truman Medical Centers.
Do you have any concerns about whether or not there could be side effects that might affect your work, fatigue, muscle soreness, anything like that? Because that has been indicated in some of the tests.
Yeah, there's always a potential for side effects. I personally know that as that vaccine research is incredibly advanced, and I know that oftentimes the benefits outweigh the side effects. So I'm more than willing and more than confident to take this chance and take this opportunity.
You got it just 20 minutes ago.
Just 20 minutes ago.
How does it feel? I mean, you sat down on that chair, you've seen COVID patients day after day. What was going through your mind as they were about to administer that shot to you?
I truly thought I might be receiving this thing that could be the ticket to seeing these patients get better, and I just keep imagining all the patients I've watched die in this time, all the patients who I've FaceTimed with their families on their deathbeds or have, tried to find a Zoom call because they didn't have iPhones, all these reasons that families have not gotten to be there with their loved ones during this time. I could see their faces in my mind and just thinking like this might be how we finally get out of this really tragic, heavy time.
Is that a little emotional for you to think about that?
Extremely emotional.
What did it feel like?
It felt like any other IM injection similar to the flu shot. It really didn't hurt, as just a little pinch.
When did you find out that you were going to get it?
Just this morning.
So what went through your head from the time that you found out to the time that it's actually injected in your body?
I was truly just overjoyed with the thought, and definitely like the anticipatory anxiety / excitement of just what is this really going to look like.
Yeah. What do you have to say to all the people who are watching this and they might receive that vaccine?
I say it's absolutely worth it. It is absolutely worth it if we can I fully believe in bodily autonomy, but if we can take this one step closer to beating this virus, I think it's absolutely worth it. We have a long road ahead of us. Even if this is the ticket, we have a very long road ahead of us, but I think this leap of faith is how we're going to get through.
Sarah, are you at the end of your shift right now?
Nope, I'm in the middle of it. We have people covering.
How long have you been a nurse, you said?
I'm going on 7 years.
Okay, so in your 7 years, has this COVID thing been the biggest challenge that you have faced in your career?
Truthfully, I try to frame it like this. We have never had to dedicate an entire ICU to one illness. That has never happened. And we had prepped for it in previous times and didn't need to use it. And our COVID ICU has been frequently running out of beds. Unfortunately, sometimes only having beds when people have passed away. So I've never seen anything like this, not to mention how it just presents so differently. I've worked many flu seasons. It presents so differently, both in the vascular system as well as the respiratory system.
How often does that happen? That you have it completely full of ICU beds and you only get a vacancy, for lack of a better word, when somebody dies?
It happens every few weeks. It's definitely a wax and wane. I've seen kind of these ebbs and flows. Sometimes we have lower census, sometimes we have higher census, depending on what's going on in the community and the acuity of our unit at that time.
How does it feel to be literally a part of history?
It feels incredibly rewarding, and if this is what will tackle this virus, beyond honored to just be this part of it. I can't even articulate.
Sarah's got to get back to her patients. Any other last question? Sarah, thank you very, very much. Dr. Steele, do you mind?
This is going to be a very historic day for you guys as a doctor, chief medical officer. What is that feeling like?
Oh, it's very extraordinary. I mean, this is a great time not only for Truman, but for the city and for the country. And I like to think of this as hopefully this is the beginning of the end. So it's a long road, as Sarah talked about, but we see light at the end of the tunnel. And so this is just the beginning, but if we get enough people vaccinated to develop that herd immunity, we hopefully can make this go away.
How many people are you able to vaccinate so far today? I know she only got it 20 minutes ago, but how many people are you going to vaccinate?
Right, so when I just walked up here, the second person got vaccinated, but we're planning on doing around 40 people hopefully before the afternoon is over.
How many vials did you guys receive or doses were you able to receive?
That's not something we're going to be specific about. We received enough to start to make a dent in making sure that our frontline staff who are taking care of COVID patients get vaccinated.
Are you proud of the folks at Truman Medical Center that are willing to take the vaccine?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Very proud, and especially of the hard work that they've been doing. I mean, we're 9 months into this. It's been a long haul. We're taking care of a lot of patients, some who are really sick and end up, unfortunately, some dying, as Sarah talked about. So it's pretty stressful on the staff, and people are working overtime to make sure that we're covered and so forth. So this is a big day for us, and I think this will be a big uplift for all of us.
Doctor, do you know what the schedule of a dose arrival is going to be? In other words, you got this dose today. Does that mean you're going to get one every Monday? I mean, do you know the pattern you expect?
Yeah, we don't know we don't know the exact timing, but at least it's been suggested that hopefully we'll start receiving something on a weekly basis.
But you'll definitely have more in 21 days for that second dose.
That's right. Yeah, we'll have additional vaccine to make sure that everybody gets vaccinated during this course, that they get the second dose.
As you were telling people today they were going to get the vaccine, what kind of reaction were you getting from nurses?
Well, I wasn't personally speaking to people, but I think people have been very excited about this, and the response has been terrific.
Is this the light at the end of the tunnel we've been talking about for so long now?
Excuse me. Fogging up. Yes, no, absolutely. I think it is the light at the end of the tunnel, but as I suggested, the tunnel is pretty long, and it's going to take a while for us to get everyone vaccinated that we need to get vaccinated to develop that herd immunity. So in the interim, I mean, we can't let our guard down, and people have to double down on those infection control principles that we've been harping about, because we're not going to have enough people vaccinated, particularly over the holidays and into January. With these colder months, we know that people tend to go indoors, and that's one of the greatest areas of risk for transmission of the virus. So certainly would plead with people to avoid gatherings, really, quite frankly, out of your immediate bubbles. If you gather outside of those and you're not masked up and socially distanced, you really are putting yourself at risk, because we know there's a significant number of people who are asymptomatic and can spread the virus.
Okay, any other questions for Dr. Steele? Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, Dr. Steele.
Is the video or images?
It is coming.
Can we talk to you?
Mind? I didn't prepare for. Hold on one second. I'm just thinking if there's
Could you, first of all,
I was gonna ask.
say and spell your name?
Yes, it's Sarah, S-A-R-A, Lauderwasser, Lauderwasser.
And your title, Sarah?
I'm a pharmacy critical care resident.
What did it feel like to get that first shot today?
It was historic, monumental were the two words that come to my mind.
And tell me, like, what was the process that you took? I know it got here frozen, you had to thaw it. Can you take us through the process?
Yeah, so it arrived here frozen. We had to thaw it in the refrigerator, and then it has to be diluted as well. The CDC give very specific guidelines on we have to invert the vial 10 times prior. We have to dilute the vaccine as well, invert it again, and then draw it up into the very specific doses.
And so that process, is that a normal vaccine process, or is that special?
It's very special to this vaccine.
And about how long does that take? The process of the thawing and everything?
Yeah, typically the thawing process takes about 3 hours. And then we have very set in stone guidance on the amount of time that we have for each step. So yeah, the thawing is about 3 hours, and then the dilution itself takes a few minutes.
How many times did you practice this actually put in the first dose?
Yeah, I mean, we've thought through this process. We had, empty vials, obviously not of the vaccine, but empty vials in order to practice and run through so that when the first actual vial came, we were more than prepared.
So did you realize as you were injecting that shot that this was a historic thing that you were doing?
Yes, yeah, like I said before, it just felt very historic and monumental.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Okay.